This third and final puzzle works very much like the example given with the keypad, where we wanted to be able to move around the numbers on the keys, but since the keys had kind of a shape that each layer of the keys was different, you couldn't simply just move the model pieces around. Now similarly here, we have this kind of beat up old oil drum, and if we want to be able to reorder the different layers and to be able to rotate them around so that they align right, we can't just move the model around because of all the dents and dings that are in it. It just won't line up right. So let's hop over to the UV Edit tab, and we can actually look at how to get this finished. All right, so let's pull this down here, and just for a little faster redraw, I'm going to switch to the default layout, and let's go ahead and select this item and switch to polygon mode. And then under my lists, I'm going to go to UV maps and select drums so that we see the UV map for this object. All right, so if you look at the top of the drum, you can see that there are some clues that are given. Now there is some text over here on the left, and really the main reason for the text is to give the user a way to orient themselves so they know kind of which way is up and which way is down. So metal is rigid, but UVs are not. Good luck. But you can see if you can read that, then you know that the drum should be facing this way. And the image of the drum itself, you can see that we've got red on the top, green in the middle, and blue on the bottom. And then there's kind of a really simple rudimentary representation of the UVs for these bands, showing arrows going up and down, left and right. Now if you continue to look here, you can see that there are marks on the top of the drum. There's a red one, a blue one, and a green one. And if we look around at each level, you can see there's a green mark here currently on the top. There is a blue one here on the bottom, and there is a red one, or a blue one rather, in the middle, and a red one here on the bottom. So what we need to be able to do is change this so that the red mark is on the top, green is in the middle, and blue is on the bottom. So RGB also kind of makes it an easy way of remembering the order that they should be in. Now as far as orientation goes, that's where these marks on the top come back into play, and each one of these, after the bands are aligned, will need to line up with the marks on the individual layer. So in order to do this, really all we have to do is order and adjust the position of these three bands in the UV space. So what I'm going to do here is open up my shader tree, and I'm just going to open up the diffuse color so that that pops up in my UV view. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start by identifying the top. So if I just select some polygons here on the top, we'll see that it's currently in the top space. But if we look here, let's maximize this, you can see that the top space has the green mark, and the blue one is here, and then the red one is here in the bottom. So what we want to do is take this piece here and slide it down so that it's in the bottom space. So I'm going to press Shift H to hide everything else just to get it out of the way. And then I'm going to just click and drag this with the Move tool down to where it lines up with the bottom set of textures. Let's go ahead and check that, make sure it fits in. And just move it down a tiny bit. And this was designed to give a little bit of wiggle room, so you've got a couple of pixels to play with. All right, so there's that. So let's select that, and I'm going to unhide everything and then just hide that one for right now. Let's bring back our 3D view, and you can see my top one is hidden. That's okay. So red is there. Green, which is the top space here, needs to be in the middle. And right now you can see that this is the middle, and it's currently in the bottom shape, the bottom space. And if you look at this, you can see that the blue should be here. So really we can just grab both of these together and slide them both up one space in the UVs. And we'll have to do a little bit of tweaking on them individually. But let's get the top one lined up there. Make sure that we have some overlap and a little bit of overlap there. And then let's get this one here. And it looks like it just needs to be put down a little bit, so it overlaps a bit on the top and a bit on the bottom. So I can press U to unhide everything else. And now if we look right, we should have, yep, red on the top, green in the middle, and blue on the bottom. So the final step here is to now take and align these bands so that the marks line up with the marks on the top. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start just by going around and finding where the red mark is here to start. So to start, it's over here on this side, and it needs to come all the way over here. So let's go ahead and select this. And again, we couldn't just do this with the transform tools in 3D space because it wouldn't line up with the distorted shape here. So let's just pull this around. And we just pull it until that aligns. And what you can do is you can look and see the edge that this aligns with. And we just want to get the red mark here to align with the red mark there. So about like that. Now, you can just leave the UVs like this. If you're staying inside of Modo, you could just leave the UVs like this. If you want to be more clean, you could actually take and cut off the UVs that are out of space, move them over here, and then just weld them together on this side. But for now, we're just going to leave those hanging off because it still is a completely valid UV if you're hanging out inside of Modo. All right, so for the green layer here, you can see that the green mark is over here, and currently it's over there. So we're going to do the same thing here, and we're just going to slide this around until the green mark lines up with, it should be pretty close to an edge. It's right about there. That works. And now let's go down to the bottom here where we've got to find the blue mark first of all. Okay, so it's over there, and it needs to go almost 180 degrees around to the other side. So let's go ahead and grab this move tool, and I'm just going to slide it a ways until we start getting that blue mark to show up, and there it is. So again, we can take this edge here and follow it down. So we know that the blue mark should pretty much align with that edge right there. So let's just move that again until we line up with that edge, and we are ready to go. So once you have all of the UVs aligned, you can either clean them up a bit or leave them. But the important thing is now that you have this set up, you can actually come in here and read the message, which says UV mapping in Modo is easy and fun. And that does it for puzzle number 3.